from that fight. And we'll go straight to the tail of the tape. The bottom line is the CompuBox numbers were all in Chocolatito's favor. They're both 30 years old. They're both 5 feet 3 inches tall. There's a 1/2 inch arm length advantage for Rungvisai. They weighed in at the 115-pound limit, and Chocolatito was a 1/4 pound under. And tonight, they've rehydrated to the point where Srisaket Rungvisai has about an unofficial 2-pound weight advantage over Chocolatito going into the ring. Here's the reason why most observers thought they had seen Chocolatito win in the first fight. He landed 441 punches to 284 for Rungvisai. He broke the power punch record for the division, landing 377 power shots in the fight. He landed at a higher connect percentage. But of course, Max, judges don't have CompuBox. They scored the blood that came from the cuts caused by butts in the fight.
I thought it was a bad job by the judges. When one fighter legitimately lands 150 more punches than the other, it's almost impossible for him to lose a 12-round decision, and yet that's what happened to Chocolatito.
And now Chocolatito walks first because of the victory for Rungvisai in the first fight. So after the very first loss of his entire career, here comes Chocolatito looking for revenge. Andre, you've never had the experience of having a revenge motive, not having lost since you were 12 years old. How powerful do you think it would beat in your heart if you were this particular fighter?
I mean, I felt like if you look at my last 2 fights, I won the first fight against Sergey Kovalev. Some thought I didn't win. That felt like a loss. And I had a fire burning in me, so I couldn't imagine if I actually took a loss. So for a guy like Roman Gonzalez, who was undefeated before this happened, with almost 50 victories, I know he's got a fire burning inside of him, and tonight he wants to right that wrong from the first fight.
He acknowledges, however, Max, that it's been a different game for him since he left 105 and 108 pounds, where he was dominant, and moved up eventually to 112, and now to 115, where he has not been able to knock opponents out.
Well, look, Quadras, who we saw lost to Estrada tonight, I thought gave Chocolatito a closer fight than Rungvisai. Chocolatito is more of a boxer at this weight class than the kind of devastating puncher he was in the even smaller weight classes.
Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, the protege of the late, great Alexis Arguello in Nicaragua. And now here comes Srisaket Rungvisai, who, like most Thai boxers, began in Muay Thai, who has spent almost all of his career fighting in Asia, who even in his 35th pro fight was fighting against a beginner with no previous experience. So he certainly doesn't have the same kind of overall competitive dossier that Chocolatito brought into Madison Square Garden, but he proved in that fight that he could compete.
He has big, strong legs, very strong foundation. It helps him take enormous punishment, and he never stops trying to win, which sounds funny. Well, what are they doing in there? But very few fighters, no matter how bad you're beating them, cannot be convinced that they can't win. But he's one of those guys. He always believes he's going to win.
Andre, what must Chocolatito do to assure that this is round 1 of a second fight instead of round 13 of the first?
Chocolatito has to use the tools that he has in his toolbox. He's not just a tough fighter. He's not just a guy that can dish it out and take it. He's a great boxer. He has a good jab. He has a good arsenal. His offense is amazing. He has to use all of that tonight to create some separation where there's no doubt about this victory if he were to win.
And now let's go to Mike Lupper for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, K2 Promotions in association with Nakornlung Promotion and Taken Promotions proudly presents the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Flyweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate, Born Bold, the official beer of boxing. Chivas, win the right way. Cafe Agave, the adult coffee creamer. Fred Loya Insurance, put Fred Loya in your corner. M150 energy drink, and Canelo versus Triple G. See it live on pay-per-view or closed circuit Saturday, September 16th. This bout sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Carvelli, Executive Director Andy Foster. The World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, pardon me, and supervisor Chiyoshi Yosakochi. The three judges at ringside, Steve Morrow, Jesse Reyes, and Alejandro Roshin. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Thomas Taylor. And now for the sold-out fans in attendance here at StubHub Center, Carson, California. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue with white and officially weighing in at 114.8 pounds. His professional record, 46 victories, including 38 wins by knockout. From Managua, Nicaragua, the challenger tonight, a four-time four-division champion, former middleweight, former light flyweight, former flyweight, former super flyweight, champion of the world, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing yellow and weighing in officially at 115 pounds. His professional record outstanding with 42 victories, including 38 wins by knockout. He has 4 defeats with 1 draw. From Bangkok, Thailand, the reigning and defending WBC Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Srisaket Rungvisai.
Nice, take the shirt off, collect the belt. How are we doing tonight, buddy? Boxer Chief second. Boxer Chief second. Okay, gentlemen. Belt line is good here. Belt line is good here. I gave you instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. We've got a lefty against a righty, gentlemen, so I'm going to caution now. Watch the heads. All right, touch gloves. Back to your corner.
Who has to fight better here? Jesse. Is it Chocolatito, who didn't get the win, the official decision the first time? Or is it Rungvisai, who maybe got away with one in terms of the official decision the first time? Or does that mean they both need to fight better?
Where my guy?
And does that mean we get an even better fight than the first one, which was pretty much the fight of the year until Anthony Joshua and Klitschko?
Younger generation referee for this fight, and Thomas Taylor. In California, you have a lot of real veteran referees. Taylor is a younger guy on the way up. The fight in Madison Square Garden made clear this could be a difficult fight to referee, but in his early assignments that we've seen, Taylor is doing really well. So here's round 1 between Rungvisai in the yellow and red trunks and Chocolatito in the blue and white. And remember, it was in round 1 in New York when Rungvisai scored the knockdown that ultimately delivered the point that won the fight for him. From the beginning, Gonzalez seems to make clear that he wants to use his feet and be in more different places tonight against Rungvisai than was the case the first time around. Moving to his left there as Rungvisai reaches with the left hand. And Chocolatito immediately says, okay, you're coming at me with your head again.
Action on headbutt, no cut. Guys, watch the heads, watch the heads. Watch the heads.
I just don't know if I would change too much if I were Chocolatito. Yes, he didn't get the win, but I think most people thought he did win convincingly.
Yeah, I don't think it's any major changes that Chocolatito have to make. I just think he needs to be more defensively responsible because Rungvisai is definitely coming back after Chocolatito punches, and he has to use a little bit more movement, subtleties, not a lot of big things.
Well, I'm always worried when a fighter says, okay, I need to stay away from the butts. Stay away from butts. They're part of the flow of the action. If you're fighting against a southpaw, it's almost always going to be a possibility. If you concentrate on that instead of on mounting your offense, aren't you headed in the wrong direction?
You're focusing on the wrong thing. You have to let the referee officiate the fight, and you have to focus on the actual fight itself.
Meantime, both of these guys over the age of 30, which, although fighters are effective much later into life than they used to be, you know, due to training and nutrition and all kinds of other stuff. Fewer fights, less wear and tear. Especially the tiny weight divisions, they age more quickly because maybe they're more speed reliant.
A heavyweight at 30 might just be getting started. A 30-year-old flyweight seems to be on the downside.
But usually as guys age, it leads to more offensive exchanges.
Round one is sort of a scratch and sniff round. Neither guy mounting any big stuff, but Rungvisai threw more punches and landed more punches.
Breathe. How do you feel? How do you feel? You want water?
Very good, very good. You're doing everything good. You're supposed to do. Keep bouncing on your feet. Keep your feet active. Keep your feet active. Straight left, right hook. Straight left, right hook. Keep your feet bouncing. Keep your feet bouncing.
Brand new trainer for Chocolatito Gonzalez tonight, Sendai Tanaka, a Japanese trainer who speaks Spanish. Chocolatito has known him for years, used to fight a lot in Tokyo. His promoter, the Taiken promotion, is from Tokyo. But between rounds, Andre Ward, I didn't like the look on his face. He didn't look happy and he didn't look comfortable.
Yeah, Chocolatito, I didn't like the first round at all. I think Rungvisai definitely controlled the action, landed some heavy shots, and right now Chocolatito looks like he doesn't have any answers.
Well, in a way, Chocolatito's been hoodwinked into not being Chocolatito. Hey, you didn't get the win when you've always otherwise gotten the win in your career. And the kind of actual events that occurred in that fight are being whitewashed because of the official decision. And now he's back to fighting this round a little more like Chocolatito, a little more aggressively, and he's having more success.
Exactly. Suddenly a different fighter as he starts to move his hands and fire away the way we've seen him do through most of his career. That was definitely not what happened in round number one. Once Chocolatito gets into a rhythm and the combination punching begins to flow, he's really something magical to watch.
They used to say in the old days that a championship makes a fighter 50% better. In other words, he now believes in himself in a new way and has even more to fight for, to defend. And Rungvisai is fighting this fight with real confidence, as though he's the boss in there.
I felt when we met with the two of them yesterday that was the case. Rungvisai has a new sense of self. He really believes that he won a fight that he deserved to win and is the champion because he deserves to be that way. Chocolatito, I was surprised, was very honest that at 115 pounds, he doesn't have the same control of his opponents he used to have. But now he's landing combinations in round two as it's a give-and-take round for both fighters.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a red flag when you hear a fighter verbalize that. Again, that's not something I would ever do, but maybe it's something he needs to do, is to be honest with himself about the move up in weight and the effect he's having. That remains to be seen. So Rungvisai said he trained four months for this fight instead of 2 months. We got to keep an eye on if that was too much training and if he overtrained for this rematch with Chocolatito.
To this point in the second round, Rungvisai has thrown 47 more punches than Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. You used to never see anybody throw more punches than Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. So times have changed, and Srisaket Rungvisai, though he's taking some leather, continues to fight confidently.
And Chocolatito did less in this fight. He's been known to go 200, 180 rounds. He sparred about 126, 130 rounds for this fight. Did away with the weight, so he did less when Rungvisai did more.
2 rounds in the books. And again, we've got a giant pay-per-view fight coming up next Saturday night. This, in the view of Mexican fans, is the future.
There is a monster in the middleweight division.
There's a perfect straight right hand.
That's a bazooka that Golovkin is throwing.
Predator at work. Tremendous right hand shot by Canelo.
He goes to the head and the body with concussive force.
Canelo showed his thunder.
Extraordinary.
September 16, it's the matchup everyone's been waiting for. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, next Saturday night, HBO pay-per-view. Make sure to stay tuned to HBO tonight after Rungvisai versus Chocolatito for the second episode of 24/7 Canelo Golovkin. The pay-per-view next weekend begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 1 hour earlier than usual. Now here comes round 3 in the rematch between Srisaket Rungvisai in the yellow with red trim and Chocolatito Gonzalez in the blue and white trunks.
Talk about Chocolatito's punch output. One of the reasons he's been able to remain so successful as he moved up in weight categories is he's always been a punching machine. You know, yes, the power didn't have the same effect as he moved up, but there were so many punches. He was crazy devastating in the super small weight divisions because those endless combinations were thrown with real power. But even as he moved up, it was just a punching machine. And if you take that away from him, what's going to distinguish him in a fight like this?
He's got to find a way, Max. I mean, if you're going to be mentioned in that top 10 of the pound-for-pound list, when you move up in weight, you got to find a way to get things done. Even if your power doesn't travel, guys are bigger, you got to find a different way mentally to get inside and do what you need to do and execute your game plan to get the win.
Well, he did, but now maybe the decision in the last fights convinced him to do otherwise.
Hard right hand to the body by Chocolatito. Starting the fight with a little bit more confidence here in round number 3.
Get hit a lot more in this fight than he did in the first.
Yeah, Max, he just seems hesitant, like he's throwing back, but he doesn't seem to have the conviction that he did this fight as he did the first fight.
I don't care who you are. If you're unbeaten, even if you're 44-0, there's somebody out there who might have your number. It's quite possible that Chocolatito in Srisaket Rungvisai has simply found the guy, the one person on the planet who might have his number.
Still early to tell, but it's kind of looking like that at the moment.
The problem with that, Jim, is we both watched Quadras, and Quadras did better than Rungvisai, I felt, you know? But because he didn't get the official decision, Chocolatito didn't feel the need to change anything. But here the decision has him changing his style, and against a newly very confident fighter.
Something has altered his confidence, and maybe he can get it back as the action continues here.
He has to obviously respect Rungvisai's power, a very strong puncher.
Rungvisai is throwing heavy shots to the head and the body.
This is tremendous action from both fighters, but if anyone is landing with more authority in these first 3 rounds, it is Srisaket Rungvisai.
No question.
Hard left hand by Rungvisai. If you're going to be an offensive fighter, you're going to give away a little bit on defense. Chocolatito Gonzalez has never been a winner because of his defense. He's been a winner because of his amazing offense. If somebody's going to rise up to match that offense, it's going to leave him wondering what the answer is. 3 rounds in the books. Very well. Breathe.
Throw that right uppercut. I know you have that straight shot, but then the uppercut, all right? That uppercut. Because he comes down and you catch him with that uppercut to the head. And you can bring him up. But look, the right to the body, then up top. The right up top, he's always throwing like this.
They fought 12 hellacious rounds in Madison Square Garden on March 18. They fought 3 very hard-fought rounds here early going at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Harold Letterman, our unofficial scorer. How do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. I got it 3-0, 30-27. Srisaket Rungvisai. I tell you, Jim, I think that the guy's not punching Chocolatito. Plain and simple. He's landing more. He's landing harder. He's landing at that right hook to the body. Look at that. Constantly. He seems to be getting off first, and he throws good combinations. What else can you ask for? Look at that.
Down goes Chocolatito on a colossal right hook by Srisaket Rungvisai.
6.
Thomas Taylor reaches 7 in the count.
Walk this way.
Chocolatito gets up, not terribly steadily.
Come here. You okay?
Guys, it just looks like the end of Chocolatito.
It certainly does. There's a body shot by Rungvisai.
He's extremely hurt right now. One more shot gets in there, it could be all over.
Over and over, Chocolatito has come forward toward Rungvisai, and rather than to throw, has allowed Rungvisai to throw first at him.
It's not simply that Chocolatito's...
And he goes a second time, and this is it. This is over. He is knocked out. Tremendous performance. Spectacular performance by a young man who may have just grown into the championship he won unexpectedly in New York.
This is a chapter of boxing history, and by that I mean, in every era, there are examples that illuminate truths about the sport.
You just saw his girlfriend, Chocolatito's girlfriend, running away from the ring, Sofia Munguia. And in that round, you saw Srisaket Rungvisai land 2 colossal power shots directly on the chin of Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And I don't know if that's the end of his career, but it certainly appears to mark the end of him as a super talent in the sport.
As I was saying, in every era, there are fights that illuminate truths about the sport. And here is an example in this era of a seemingly unbeatable fighter who was, while declining, still beating excellent fighters in great fights. And he seemed to win even his last fight where he didn't get the decision. But because he didn't get that decision, it seemed to have an enormous psychological effect on him, how he felt he had to fight in this fight, and even the kind of belief he had in himself. Andre Ward, even the fact that he wasn't first, he's always first. His ability to take a punch, his seeming will to win, all seemed to be gone, like he was a shot fighter suddenly when he showed up tonight as a result of that first fight.
You can see it in his face. Andre Ward, boxing is the cruelest sport because inevitably you are defined by your losses rather than your wins. This, too much, will be what people remember about Chocolatito.
And this is a great career. He's had 46 victories. He's been on the pound-for-pound list. And like you said, these last 2 fights, and mainly this fight in this moment, is what he's going to be remembered for. You're absolutely right.
It's not just the knockout, guys, which was devastating, but it was the fact that he was getting beaten. A guy who usually wins all the rounds, right, getting beaten by a more plodding fighter who he seemed to have his way with in the first fight. He was getting beaten to the punch, in a way outboxed and certainly outslugged in each of the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, Chocolatito was never really in this second fight.
He was 46-0 with 38 knockouts 6 months ago. Now it will be years before anybody talks about him without saying Srisaket Rungvisai.
When, Andre, when you say Chocolatito was never in this fight, I take that to mean not simply was he getting beaten, but we didn't see Chocolatito tonight, which makes me think we'll never see him again, that the Chocolatito we once knew no longer exists.
I didn't think he was in this fight yesterday. It showed tonight. Let's go to Michael Buffer now for the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest comes to an end. The official time, 1 minute, 18 seconds, round number 4. The winner by knockout victory, and still the reigning WBC super flyweight champion of the world from Bangkok, Thailand, Srisaket Rungvisai.
There's the winner, and still the champion at 115 pounds. Srisaket Rungvisai of Thailand adds another win to his tremendous record. You can see the final CompuBox numbers. Rungvisai landing 22 punches, more than Chocolatito Gonzalez, and frankly, landing all the big shots. All of the real power punches in the fight were landed by the Thai fighter. Throwing 79 more punches, they both landed at a 27% connect percentage. Chocolatito just never got the offense going the way he most frequently has in the past. Power shots, you see the numbers. Srisaket Rungvisai landing 26 more, throwing 59 more, landing at a higher connect percentage. Those two right hooks in that round, spectacular shots, which will echo for a long time here at the StubHub Center in Carson. And here is Max Kellerman with the winner.
Srisaket, congratulations on a dominating performance and a brutal knockout win. There was controversy after your first fight. How did that affect your preparation for this one?
มีความรู้สึกเป็นยังไงว่า
ครับผม
ชกครั้งแรก
ครับผมไฟล์นี้ผมรู้ตัวว่าผมซ้อมมาดีมากครับผมซ้อมมวยมา4 เดือนเต็มๆผมให้คนไทยทุกคนครับผม
So I trained really hard for 4 months. So I want every Thai person to know what I came here for.
This is a huge event in Thailand, the biggest win and the most emphatic win in the history of your country's boxing outside of Thailand. What does that mean to you?
ผมทำให้คนไทยทุกคนภูมิใจมากครับผมแล้วก็คนไทยให้กำลังใจผมมากเยอะมากที่สุดเลยครับผม
I fought for Thailand, for the pride of Thailand, for the country of Thailand, and this is what I dedicate this fight for, Thailand, the country of Thailand.
When I asked about your preparation and the fact that the first fight was controversial, were you determined to score a knockout in this fight, as you did, to leave no doubt that you were the better man?
ครับผมก็ไฟล์แรกผมรู้ตัวว่าผมซ้อมมาแค่2 เดือนแต่ไฟล์นี้ผมรู้ตัวว่าผมซ้อมมาไฟล์ที่2ผมซ้อมมา4 เดือนเต็มๆแล้วผมมั่นใจมากว่าต้องชนะน็อกแน่อยู่แล้วครับผม
For the first fight, I only trained 2 months, and then for this fight, I trained 4 months. And now, in this fight, I knew I was going to knock him out for this fight.
I hate to see you train 8 months. Estrada is now your mandatory based on his big win tonight. We saw Inoue, the monster, look very impressive. What is your interest in fighting either or both of those guys?
ผมต่อยกับใครก็ได้ครับผมไม่กลัวใครทั้งนั้นครับผม
I can fight whoever. I'm not scared of anyone. I'll fight whoever.
Well, on 4 months training, if that's the difference, ooh, that's quite a difference. Jim?
All right, thank you, Max Kellerman. We will not be able to bring you an interview with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. He is being taken immediately to the hospital for obvious reasons. Here's another look at the colossal right hook, which ended the fight as Chocolatito wound up unconscious for a few moments on the canvas after that colossal shot. Andre Ward, there's something about the way a right hook is thrown by a southpaw fighter against a conventional fighter. Oftentimes, it's an odd angle for the conventional fighter. I don't think Chocolatito visually picked up either of those two shots that knocked him down.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.